This week's episode of the HP Outdoors Waterfowl Podcast is driven by Cornerstone Gun Dog Academy. CGA is the world's most comprehensive online gun dog training resource with over 160 instructional videos that includes everything that you need to take your 7-week-old puppy to a finished gun dog. Visit cornerstoneGunDogAcademy.com to sign up for the free preview module and begin your training journey today. Cornerstone Gun Dog Academy, the most advanced gun dog training resource on the web. You are listening to the HP Outdoors Waterfowl Podcast, episode 164. This week on the show, we welcome back an old friend. Our buddy Travis joins us as he's home from London, and he sits down with Dan to talk hunting. All right, welcome to episode 164 of the HP Outdoors Waterfowl Podcast. This week brought to you by Gunner Kennels. They're engineered for your dog, designed for travel, and built for your peace of mind. The G1 series of kennels has set a new industry standard and put Gunner in a category that's all its own. They were started to protect your pet, and it continues to be the center of everything that they do, and they're dedicated to building the best and safest pet travel crate on the market because man's best friend deserves man's best kennel. Check out their G1 series of kennels and accessories at gunnerkennels.com. Welcome to this week's episode. We're your on-demand audio source for all things waterfowl and waterfowl hunting. If you're new to the show, you can check us out at hpoutdoors.com. You can find us across all of the various social media platforms out there, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you're on Facebook, check out our listeners group. Super active place to hang out and chat with a bunch of like-minded hunters. You can also find our show across all the podcast directories out there, Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, all the good ones you can find our show. So if you're new, make sure you head over and check out all the past episodes and get caught up with everything that we've had going on. This week, we got a little bit of a different setup. I was traveling out of town for work this week. I also was sick while I was gone, and you may be able to tell a little congested here, so I'm kind of apologize for the mouth breathing that I probably got going on, but so battling that. So this week, Dan is joined by our good buddy Travis. Travis is living overseas currently, and he's back home for the holidays and talking hunting with Dan. And you may remember Travis, those of you who have listened to the show in the past, he's been on with us before, particularly the Making of a Waterfowl Hunter episode that we did. Travis was on that one as well, so really, really glad to have him back on the show and always enjoy him stopping by. So this week, Dan will be sitting down with him. And before I turn it over to those guys, I do want to take a minute this week just to thank Adrenaline Bird Hunting, made quick, clean, and humane. The finisher is the alternative to the out-of-date technique that can damage or destroy your trophy bird. Finisher's been tested in the field and continues to hold true to its name. It can be easily worn on your lanyard, vest, or jacket. Check them out, adrenaline.com, to get yours today. Also, thank you to Turtlebox. Turtlebox is the loudest portable speaker on the market. It's built for the outdoorsman. It's tough enough to drag along on any adventure and built to handle mud, dirt, salt water, or anything else you can throw at it. Turtlebox is loud enough to hear over your boat engine or ATV, and the battery lasts for days. They've got built-in tie-down anchors where you can strap it to anything that you can think of. You can also pair it with another Turtlebox for a left and right stereo sound. It's just like an outdoor concert. It's fully waterproofed and tested to withstand salt and fog. Just hose it off when you're done. Check it out over at turtleboxaudio.com or follow them on Instagram at turtleboxaudio. Also, thank you this week to Duck Camp. Our friends over at Duck Camp have joined up with the HB community here recently. And Duck Camp makes high-quality hunting apparel in their own camouflage patterns. They're really shaking up the industry with their more modern take on hunting and fishing apparel. They make high-quality lightweight, midweight, and heavyweight shirts that are perfect for the blind, back at camp, or out in town. They're also made from They also make premium fleece hoodies, breathable rain jackets, and some new brush pants that are definitely sweet. Would recommend you check those out as well. Head over to their website, outfit yourself, the hunters in your life, especially around the holidays. Check them out at duckcamp.com. Also, finally, this week, thank you to Eukanuba. Out in the field, how you've prepared determines how you'll perform with balanced fat and protein to support peak condition. Eukanuba premium performance dog food enhances strength, energy, and endurance. So when the pavement ends and the truck doors finally swing open, you and your dogs are ready for anything. Strong, focused, and ready for anything. That's Eukanuba dog. All right. Well, clearly I'm having issues this week. I think my head cold here is getting the best of me. So I'm going to go ahead and step aside this week and turn it over to Dan and Travis, and check back with you on the other side.
All right, and this episode, we have someone that is the second time on the show.
Recurring guest,
Travis Laird. Trav, how you doing?
Hey, Dan.
So Trav was on the Making of a Duck Hunter about a year ago.
About a year ago, yeah.
And every time he comes home from London, we get together at least once and go out and try and kill birds when he's here.
Which we tried about for the last 2 hours. And we saw 0 ducks.
So Goose is out right now. Duck season is in. The thousands of mergansers that I've been seeing recently must have moved on. The lake, you went to the lake today.
Yeah, I went to the spot where you killed the mergansers and was looking forward to shooting one of those trophies.
And that area was completely froze. So
overnight, yeah.
We drove a long ways. We drove all over looking for open water.
Basically every lake and outlet in the area.
And if there was, some of the water was open, and we saw no ducks.
Mm-mm. Maybe a couple on the refuge side of the Pymatuning there, but that was it.
Yeah. We saw ducks where you can't hunt ducks. So that was fun. But we did set up on an outflow and came up over a bank, and there were 30 geese. Mm-hmm. That was about it.
Yep. That was the extent of the waterfall.
You did see some this morning?
Yeah.
It was frozen.
Yeah.
You broke ice.
Broke ice for about 45 minutes.
And it would not stay open.
Wouldn't stay open.
There was no breeze. It just kept refreezing.
Mm-hmm. The only thing that would help a little bit was I had that jerk rig out and would pull on that.
Just moving it.
Yeah, but that was basically it. Nothing was interested in what we had to offer there today.
So what? Today's the 12th. It's open till
Saturday, the 14th.
The 14th.
And then it comes back on the 27th.
Through the 1st.
Yeah.
And you leave the 1st. Mm-hmm. So
I'm here for 3 weeks. My wife asked me when she would see me this holiday break, and I said, I'll see you January 1st. We'll be hunting every day. That's one of the things that it's tough living in London when I see all your posts and adventures. And, yeah, that's the only thing that really is tough being over there, not being able to hunt. So when I come over here, I try to take advantage of it. So, like, when we were at that wedding in November, you land in Pittsburgh at about 8 o'clock, get back to where we live by 10, and then you're on London time, so wake up at about 3 a.m., and then actually hunted ducks first thing for one day in November. And that was, again, everything was froze up. And then did pretty good on the pheasants, though, so that was a lot of fun. So looking forward to...
Did you do any deer hunting?
No.
And it's still open. Are you going to go out?
Josh isn't here to defend himself, but he's got me... I'm like him now. Like, I used to be a deer hunter, and now I just really don't care to. I think my dad... he actually had a good deer season, but he... went out on Saturday after he was tagged out on our farm and didn't see a deer all day. So I'm not really interested in doing that.
No, my dad did the same. He was out, saw a few. I saw more out my back door than he did sitting. So when I see him run by and say they're coming your way, and then they just disappear back there and all that thick stuff.
Yeah.
So he'll be out. It's going to warm up, so stuff's going to open back up. We really thought we'd be successful today because with the ice that you had, we figured they would congregate in some of the outflows and moving water, but literally there are no ducks. And Conneaut Lake usually always has divers. We didn't see anything.
Nothing.
There are hundreds of seagulls around. That's it. So
if we would have had Dawson with us, he'd have been
pumped. He'd have been really pumped. And then get after it. No, he still needs his ID lessons, but that's been fun, man. Been fun taking them out for sure.
Yeah.
But I guess
actually my daughter, she's like, Daddy, when can I go hunting? But she's about 9 months younger than your girls. So I think I'm just going to take her for a walk in the woods and see how she feels when it's a little bit warmer.
Yeah, it's like it was 17 this morning when you were out. It's up to 27 now. Definitely, I put a post up on Instagram talking about what people do when it freezes up. A lot of people start going ice fishing. Other people go out to big water. And, yeah, like I said, we tried all of it, and there just aren't any birds. It's a south wind, too, which is a little weird. But the end of the week, well, Sunday, it looks like there's a north wind, but we can't hunt Sundays, and our season is out.
Seems like Sunday's going to be the day. Yeah, whenever we have a south wind around here, it always kind of makes things a little tough to hunt because there's no good way to get at the birds, really, or to get in a position where they're going to finish right on any of the spots that we really hunt. So, but that's hunting.
That's part of it. So what else has been going on?
Oh, well, like I said, back here for 3 weeks. I'm going to do some pheasant hunting, probably some muzzleloader deer hunting, and then the waterfowl season. Try to celebrate Christmas in and around all that important stuff, though. But I've been listening to all the episodes. I think this year of episodes was really, really good. A lot of new stuff coming at us audience members.
Yeah. Do you want to go over some of those?
Yeah, I thought that the stuff from the field, it's probably pretty difficult to put an episode like that together because you're hunting and you're trying to figure out what you can leave in, cut out. But I always thought the hunt recaps were good because it really talks about the different parts of the country and the different ways to go about hunting waterfowl. So I really liked and even I know you guys didn't have a great Arkansas hunt, but that was still really interesting to, because everybody thinks that you just go down and crush the snow geese, but it's tough to hunt them too.
With the bad hatch that they had, and I mean, the geese were there, but they're just adults and they're so finicky. It was really difficult, but I think this year people are going to be crushing them, have been crushing them, and will continue to crush them. There's a good hatch. Same with specs. It seems like they are getting hammered all over the place.
Yeah.
And, Josh and I talk every time we go on a trip. We're like, what are you doing? Can you get away?
Yeah.
Can you fly directly to
It's
Kansas?
tough. There's not a direct flight from London to Saskatchewan. Or would you guys fly into Edmonton?
Yeah, Edmonton.
Actually, there might be. But, yeah, it's tough to...
Well, I would advise going around Toronto, whatever you can do, because that was awful. Or just not... I guess you don't have a firearm over there anyway. So
no.
You'll have to rent one. But definitely in future episodes, when we go on trips, Travel will be going.
I'll be going on one for sure.
And I'm excited for that because, like we said, we're here. We have 0 birds, literally no ducks at all. And when you go out to these places and it's from sun up until you want to quit, you see birds flying. It's just a different experience.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it in person. I mean, the only thing that I have to compare to is when we've been in the Eastern Shore, which were just thousands and thousands of geese and all those canvasbacks, but nothing seems like on the scale of what you guys have seen in the Central Flyway.
Right. No, it's awesome. Everyone should move there. Hopefully they get it figured out. Whatever's going on with our waterfowl and the ducks, we're down to 2 mallards, 1 hen is our limit, and then in some areas our goose limit is way down. So.
Yeah, I always find that the episodes too where you guys talk about or you have someone from Delta on or
John Devney.
Boy, that guy knows his stuff. But the diversity of topics that you guys cover now is pretty cool. I thought that the Sierra Langbell episode was really great. Just as a father of 2 daughters who I really want to be part of the outdoors, it's good to have that voice on the show. And then, as we've talked about, my mom has been a huge influence on me, but she's as tough as they come, and she's got as much drive as anybody when it comes to getting out there and hunting.
She probably has more harvests than anyone in the family.
She's getting up there. Yeah, she shot a buck in archery season. She's really good on pheasants too, man. They had a tough year in Colorado, though.
Yeah, they were out there for a while.
A month. Yeah.
So going back to the Sierra Langbell episode, and really, I asked, what do you do? Do you make them go? Do you kind of push them? Do you let them decide? And she was on a more of don't push too hard and make everything fun. So
Mm-hmm.
are there any activities over in London to where you can get them outdoors at all? Not hunting, but just out in nature type deal.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities, and actually, it's something that I took from Josh. He plays that game with Taylor about, if you can, instead of looking at the phone or the video screen, if you can see a deer before me, or because there's deer running all over the place in the parks over there.
Yeah.
And there's ducks. They're pretty tame ducks, but the whole diversity of different duck species you'll see on a pond there. So we talk about, is that a mallard, or there's canvas back there. So they like playing the duck ID game.
Nice.
The
Sadie and Dawson get in fights because Dawson loves wood ducks and Sadie likes mallards. Kelly really doesn't care, but they argue about which one's better looking.
There's a guy.
It's pretty funny.
I'm friends with a guy. He's actually from Arkansas. He lives in London, and he's a mallard purist. Because I was talking about the waterfowl opportunities around here in early season. It's basically wood ducks, and he was a little aghast that we would even consider that. But hey, man, woodies are really good eating too, and they're a lot of fun to shoot and hunt.
Yeah, they're quick, they're fun. They can be frustrating sometimes,
But anyway, back to the the episodes. One of the ones that I really found interesting was not quite the waterfowl episode, but I think his name was Lee Stuckey, to talk about the work that he does with veterans as a veteran himself that has battled depression, and I think that type of message is really great to get out there, and how the outdoors can be therapeutic, and because I know it is for me as someone who has an extraordinarily stressful job. I was just sitting there this morning, even though there was no ducks flying, watching the sunrise, sending you pictures of the hole that I was able to carve out of the half-inch ice.
So what did you apply the donkey kick method, or were you just stomping in it?
Just stomping.
Just stomping.
I brought for some reason, Dad has.
Did you bring a chainsaw?
No, Dad has all of this aluminum fence post piping.
Yeah.
So I kind of use that as like a bat.
Yeah.
It didn't work as good as stomping though.
Yeah.
So we stomped it and stomped it and stomped it. And it was able to make a pretty good hole, but it just froze back up, within 30 minutes.
Yeah, it was cold. It was really cold.
Mm-hmm.
What was your spread arrangement out there?
I had 2 black ducks because I wanted to try to get a black duck. I had 2 black ducks, 2 Drake mallards, and a hen mallard, and then a Drake mallard on the jerk rig.
Nice. So one thing I'm noticing, and I'm not sure when they really do start pairing up, but even watching those thousands of mergansers, everywhere there was a hen, there were 2 or 3 males behind it.
Yeah.
And it gets to the point, and when I was out there, I was like, man, if Trav was here, I would make him bring all of his black duck decoys. 1, just for viewing, but 2, if they see that and they don't see the white on the drakes, on the mallards, I would assume that more mallards would be attracted to that or want to get in. So
yeah, I always mix in a couple black ducks in the spread.
Yeah, I think I'm going to start doing that, but I really need to. I just wish that they sold more hen decoys.
Yeah,
like packs, and not 4-to-2 ratios. It just seems like that would be better, but maybe I'll just end up buying more. But anyway, no spinner.
No spinner. Actually, probably a mistake. There was at first light there was like 8 big ducks flying 400 yards away that kind of took a look after we,
Were you calling?
We're calling at them. Yeah, I think if we would have had a little more motion there, it might have helped.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I did. I was saying that when I shot the 2 mallards and the black duck with the same hole, I had 5 decoys in a spinner, and they just dive bombed right into it. But last year, it's funny, and I said this to Josh before, like last year during the season was the most mallards I've ever seen around.
Yeah.
And then this year, prior to season, the entire refuge side, that entire lake was full. Like,
yeah, Yeah, I was there in
thousands
August.
of mallards.
Yeah.
Thousands.
I couldn't believe the amount of ducks there.
And I was like, if this season is anything like last, and we have 2 ducks, but now all those birds are gone, and we have
they just
we
leave.
don't even have divers. We don't have divers here.
There's typically some divers here by now.
Mm-hmm. Or usually when it goes out, right when it goes out, they start filling up.
I guess all you can do in situations like that is just, scout as much as you can and keep looking for ducks. There's got to be some somewhere. But when all the usual spots are sort of dry, it's tough to find them unless you're out there. And for me, it's tough because obviously I live 3,000 miles away, so the only scouting I can do. Well, I do a lot of e-scouting actually, and I'm on that quite a bit. But especially as I'm, tracking other people's where they're hunting. And
do you like the DU app? Are you on there looking for cold fronts?
I used to be. I'm still an amateur duck hunter, but when I was very novice, I would go on there quite a bit.
Just check it out.
Yeah,
I think it's
I went on there right before we left London, and there's not a whole lot of activity going on that the old migration map anymore.
I think it used to be a bunch of fake news anyways.
Yeah.
One thing, and I don't think I've ever brought it up on here, but I started going to eBirds.
Okay.
And it's a bird watching.
Not familiar, yeah.
A bird watching website, and everywhere you can just bring up a map and click on where people report, and you can break it down by species or like volume.
Little hack there, huh?
Little hack, and I think people really start using that. So it's not hunters that do it, but it's just people that are out taking pictures or just going and bird watching.
I'll check it out.
There's a lot of information there. A lot of information.
Yeah. I'm going to go over to Ohio, I think, this weekend and see what's going on over there. See if we can get into some ducks. Last year in Ohio, I shot this beautiful black duck, Drake black duck, and didn't have a finisher. So I had to do it the old-fashioned way.
You rung it?
Ruined it, yeah.
Why don't you just kneel on it?
I don't know. But I really want, I'm not going to have a whole lot of duck mounts, but I really want a black duck mount.
Yeah.
Did you get that black duck mount?
It's in my freezer still.
Oh.
I need to. I'm going to. And then I have that mallard that was banded too. So somehow, I don't know what I'm going to do. I kind of want them both on a log, like kind of facing each other. And having the band kind of out so you can see it. And then the black duck next to it. But that was a stud black duck.
Yeah. Don't you think that even though the hunting around here isn't great, 2019 was probably your best waterfowl season?
Last year?
Yeah, this year, 2019 or 2018, because of all the trips you've gone on.
Yeah, probably. Seems like a lot of trips. Kansas, Oklahoma.
I guess Oklahoma and Kansas were last year, right?
Yeah. Arkansas, Saskatchewan. And then since I'm still unemployed, I'm going to Kansas next week. Going to be doing some photography and filming, so that is going to be fun. Little treat before Christmas, and then back in January, the third week of January, Josh and I will be going out with one of the winners of a giveaway back to Big Kansas.
That's cool that you guys do that.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So actually, the winner of the Saskatchewan trip is friends with the winner of the Kansas trip out of North Carolina.
Yeah, you guys.
And he's going. Yeah, so he's going to be back out there. Ethan. So he had a good time up there. They killed a lot of birds. We killed a lot of birds.
Yeah.
It's unreal up there. And actually, I was really surprised about the terrain. I think we talked about it, but you would assume that it would be like just flat in the fields, and it was. There were a lot of areas that almost looked like the foothills of the Rockies. I mean, it was just really, really cool. And I guess you're kind of, no, you're not. I mean, when we were in Edmonton, I could see it being mountainous, but we're quite a few hours east, and there were a lot of flat areas, but where we were hunting was pretty hilly. that was just a good time. And great lodging and everything about it was fun. You need to go up
the
there.
lodge experiences are top notch.
Dude, that's Nutcracker just fell off the window.
We're sitting in my parents' house right now, and house is falling apart, I guess. That Nutcracker's probably 50 years old.
Dropped his nuts. Dropped his cracker. But yeah, no, some of the best parts about these trips are the going to the lodges and meeting new people and hanging out. And I know it all depending on the bird situation in January. We haven't got our lodging yet, just because we might be pretty mobile. So looking forward to that.
Sleeping in the back of the Suburban that you guys rent.
Maybe. I do like Suburban.
You and Josh. He'll probably fight you in
beat
sleep.
on me again. So you and I haven't talked about that, but that was back when Josh, Trav, and myself used to room together and push beds
20
together.
20 years ago.
I'd get the crack, and
we have talked about that. We talked about it on the last time I was on, yeah.
Oh my gosh. You woke up momentarily.
Yeah, I just kind of rolled over.
That's what was going on.
You guys had to sort it out.
No, going back to that Lee Stuckey, and I think I opened up, maybe not last week, but 2 weeks ago, about a kid here locally that committed suicide, and just if people need to reach out, and there were a couple posts in our Facebook group about it. Just I can't imagine being in that situation, and really do, it's an open line for anyone that wants to contact us and needs to talk or wants to get together on a hunt or something, whatever it is. Like, there are people willing to sit and listen. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, what he's doing down there, opening up that farm and keep buying more property and hosting not just the vets, but their families to enjoy that time together. Because really, I mean, the more you think about it, like when you go on a hunting trip or think about going through college and being on a baseball team, like that brotherhood is crazy. It's tight. You're with them all the time. And then like even when you graduate, you're like, man, I'm out here on my own now. And it's, it's a different world.
It's an adjustment.
So those guys that literally bleed together and do all that, and you come home and it's just a, totally different world and what they go through and see, and I can't imagine it. So that's why I know my line's always open for anyone, but I know there's a lot of people out there willing to listen.
Yeah, sometimes that's all it takes too.
Yeah. Just chat.
But anyway, I got a question for you.
Yes.
How much clay shooting did you do over the summer? Because when I was home in August, we went out once.
We shot.
And you shot pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Had you been shooting much at all?
Not before that. That was my first time shooting.
Huh.
Pretty on.
Yeah. Well, I think that I shot very well when we were pheasant hunting, and I think that, and we had shot a little bit before that. I think all it takes is a little bit of, just to get back in the swing.
Rust off. Yeah. Yep. Get that swing down, and that has to be an adjustment too. Not being around it, because I mean, I'll go out and crow hunt or do whatever, just go out in the backyard. And
do you crow hunt seriously?
Sometimes, yeah. Not that often, but I'll go out and shoot. And
when I was a kid, my dad climbed a tree and took a baby crow out of the nest, and we were gonna raise it. His name was Gizmo.
Wait, he actually got the crow?
Yeah, he got the crow. Yeah, he went about 30 feet in a tree. Got this crow. We had Gizmo for a while, and then he took off. So you shot Gizmo this summer, huh?
I might have. So what was the plan with Gizmo?
I wanted a bird.
Decoy?
Yeah, because I had heard that crows you could teach to talk. I don't know if that's true.
They're smart.
They're very smart, yeah. And so that I was gonna have this crow.
Wait, so he climbed it because you wanted it?
Yeah.
And you said, "Dad, climb that tree," or did he
somehow I got it in my mind that I wanted a crow. He went out back. He climbed a tree with a crow's nest in it. He got a crow. That is 100% true story.
So Toe Tap is, he's been on hunts with us, and he's not here right now, but I was hoping he might make an appearance. We need to get him on at some point.
Yeah.
But he has stories.
He's a legend.
Stories beyond stories. like climbing 30 feet to get a baby crow for Trav. It's nuts. So what other episodes did you find?
I
Nice.
always like it when Barton's on. He's just got a good way about him. He's able to explain things in layman's terms so that people can understand the concepts behind dog training. I find, dog training just fascinating, and people that are able to handle dogs like that. He's a really good follow on Instagram too. So I like the Barton episodes.
Yeah, not just one dog. He has all those dogs trained. Like 15, 20 at his kennel, and that was an experience too, going down there and picking up Boo and watching that. Speaking of that, Boo, I might get her out in late season.
Oh, really?
If we find some birds, she's probably. I think if Thad goes and handles her, we could probably get her a couple retrieves. That dog's a lover, though. That dog is like her dad, just a big cuddler, and I think she's a lap dog. I think she's 65 pounds now. She's the same size as Kimber is, and Kimber will be mad if Boo goes and Kimber doesn't.
Yeah, it was good to see Kimber today.
Yeah, she's still got it.
She does. Yeah, bit gray in the face, but she still has it.
She's been white in the face for years.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the other thing today too was the first time that I've seen those new lifetime decoys.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought that episode was really interesting too, just to understand what goes into making a really innovative and high quality product, and then seeing them in person, because I carried them to where we were going. Super light, looked like they were really durable.
So there were some first gen ones in there,
Right.
and you could see some of the paint on the bills were cracked a little bit.
Was that one of the things that they changed?
Yeah, so they changed the paint on that. Now you can bend them every which way, and there's no cracking at all. So that was one of the last changes that they made after some recommendations. But yeah, it's light, and I just like how quiet they are.
Mm-hmm.
There's no bang, 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 bang. It's like carrying Crocs on your back. So what else, man?
What do you got going on next year? What are some of the things that we can look forward to on the show?
I think we're probably when we first started, like our first 20 or 30 episodes were a lot of 2 or 3 points that we kind of touched on, I feel like, and I think that we're going to deep dive into a lot of that. I think we're going to go back over what some of those episodes and really get in depth with that. And that's a cool thing. A lot of feedback that we get, like, how we're really focused on getting the new hunters to a place where they're out and being successful.
Yeah.
So, a lot of the feedback that we're getting is just the deep dive stuff and really getting in depth with just those little facets of the hunt that can make
I think
or
that'd
break.
be really helpful.
Yeah.
And I think the stuff around, focusing on people who are interested in getting into waterfowl. Because like I said, I was lucky to know you and Josh and kind of learn on the fly, but somebody who's just wants to do it. I also like listening to Josh's almost weekly crusade for Sunday hunting.
Yeah.
Which it's funny. I'm a huge proponent for Sunday hunting because I think it's just another opportunity, as Josh talks about often, to get out in the field. But I can tell you, my parents were not for Sunday hunting. And I asked them why, and they said, well, just because, that's the way it's always been. Like, my dad was adamantly opposed to how the Pennsylvania whitetail firearm season changed. Because it's always been, the Monday after Thanksgiving, just because that's the way it's always been. And so it's sometimes interesting to, ask somebody what their opinion is and have a good actually debate about why something should be the way it is or should be changed. But like, for someone like me who can really only hunt, 8 days a year, I could hunt 11 days a year if Sunday was available in Pennsylvania.
And that's the thing too. Like we were driving and looking at the weather, and we're like, man, Sunday's the day, and you can't hunt it. Like it just seems like it always could be just a great opportunity to be out and be successful in the field. I don't know why, but maybe just because you focus in on that more. I'm sure there's days of the week that would be perfect, but you're working. But it's just like every Sunday is just like, man, it's just everything lines up, and it seems like it's Sunday.
It's a Sunday.
Yeah, I can see there were a lot of people that were upset about the Saturday start, but there were a lot of people that were excited because they can't take Mondays off. You know, they work and now they get a shot, so they're going. They might not have hunted the last 15 years, and now they're getting back in the woods. So but I can definitely see the side where people leave Friday after work, drive to their camp in the mountains,
and then have like the camp experience for a weekend.
Have the camp experience. They go out, they put their stands up, and ready to go Monday morning. So
yeah, there's a lot of 12-year-old boys that have been educated as men in one weekend at hunting camp. I was one of those kids.
Those hunting camps are...
It's like all the rules are out the window.
Yeah. And like I said,
side of your dad that you've never seen before.
That's probably, some of the best part about going around on these hunting trips is just different duck camps, right? Different hunting camps. And they're not that different, no matter how, if they're, 5-star or 2-star. Yeah. And like Ramsey Russell said, once you're in a blind, you're all duck hunters. It doesn't matter where you're from, and that serves true on every hunt we've been on. So
yeah, Ramsey is another one that you've had on a couple times, I think.
Yep.
And he's, he knows more about ducks really than 99% of the population in the world, probably. Ducks, worldwide. It's always interesting to see what he's got going on.
Yeah, we had him on in Australia, and then a long one at home. But that's another thing. So someone brought it up in the group about water swatting.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember talking to Ramsey. It wasn't on an episode, but he called and we talked for an hour and a half. And he said that one of the first times he ever went out, there were, 5 or 6 mallards just finishing right over the decoys. And he pulls up and shot one and got yelled at because the guy's like, that wasn't on the water. He's like, well, what do you, it's right there at 20 yards. He goes, no, we're fooling them to where they land, and then you shoot. So,
that's interesting.
And then and then people say it's not a sport, but
yeah,
just
that's an
interesting
debate. Yeah, definitely, because it's probably the most ethical way to shoot a bird.
Yeah, and that's if you, my mindset is if you put all the decoys out, you call, you brush your blind. If you fool them enough to where they think everything's real and safe, and you get them in. Man, it's legal, and like you said, it's an ethical shot. They're not moving, and
especially if you're only going to get 2 of those.
Yeah, 2. Jeez,
waiting all day.
You don't know how many times I've played through my mind shooting mallards, and just if one's a black duck, and I mean a black duck compared to a mallard when they're coming in is easy enough to ID, but just the thought of shooting a black duck and 2 mallards, you could be done in one.
Isn't the black duck limit 2 now?
Yeah, it's 2. But just saying, like if you have 3 shells in your gun,
right?
They come in.
No, you're just killing 3 every time.
No
misses, no whiffs for you.
Well, you told me I was a good shot.
I love the confidence. Yeah, there's 3 ducks. I got 3 shells. They're all going down.
Hey. Confidence is king, right?
But that, that's just back to the water swat. Like I would never shoot a pheasant that's on the ground.
Yeah.
You have the dog impact too there, but the way I hunt pheasants is the pheasant flushes and you hopefully shoot just a rooster, but ducks are different. I'll water swat a duck and not think twice about it.
Would you shoot a turkey flying?
So the answer is yes. But that's because I shot at a turkey and I missed it and then it flew. Gotcha. And then I shot and then had to do another follow-up shot.
So then if you shot at a rooster and it landed and ran 20 yards in front of you across the path?
If I didn't think if the dog wasn't around and I didn't think the dog was going to get it, and the only way that I could recover that pheasant,
So
then I would.
safety,
Yeah.
safety issues.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
That works. Going back to episodes, you have to like Ryan Bassam
Yeah.
from Sitka
Mm-hmm. Why? Because
you just from looking at you.
Yeah, I just got a new fresh shipment too that I'm really excited about. But I mean, Dan's outfit right now, he's got. First of all, he's in a house that's almost 80 degrees.
I was going to say it is warm in here,
and you've got 4 layers on,
and I'm comfortable. Maybe a little warm.
It's ridiculous. But I just think the stuff that Sitka does, and a lot of the new tech, it completely changed the way. And we talked about this the last time I was on, but it completely changed the way I hunted, because I had never really invested in quality gear that was going to keep me in the field longer or dry. I mean, that was the biggest thing. I think that Hudson jacket's the first jacket that I've had that's Gore-Tex, and it's a huge difference. You don't even really know what you're putting up with when when you're using that old gear or whatever it is.
Yeah, just absorb water and be 50 pounds. So you broke ice this morning.
Yeah.
Did you have hand warmers in your boots?
I was really worried about the foot situation, and so as we talked about last year, I cannot keep my feet warm. So I did, yeah.
You did,
Yeah.
And you start out with them.
I put them. I bought the ones that stick to your socks. So I opened them up at about a half hour before we left, and then I put them on my sock right before I put my waders on. And then my feet were good, and they still got a little cold. And we were only there for
an hour.
Once we realized we couldn't keep the hole open, we were only there for about an hour and a half. And they started to get cold. So
you go with the mindset of, I'm going to heat these puppies up, maybe sweat.
Well, I used to not do that. And then, as you know, I would always have to take my waders off, in the middle of the hunt. Because my feet were freezing.
So now you know that you get at least an hour and a half before an adjustment needs made.
Yeah. So I think the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get I had some of those heated insoles, but not the ones that had the remote. So I think I'm going to get the remote controlled heated insoles or some remote controlled heated socks. It seems like the sock technology is getting better. Doing a lot of research on this because it's the number one thing I think about.
Right.
Before what's gonna go wrong, and the number one thing is always my feet are gonna get cold.
That's
and
awful.
It's funny that my dad and I were talking about this morning when we were hunting. He said, "Yeah, my feet are just starting to get a little," because he did the same thing. I said, "Put these on your feet," and I said, "God, when He made me, He said, you are gonna have your father's feet."
Your father's cold.
You're cold. The bad circulation. I don't know if it's bad circulation to my feet or what, but my feet, they're just brutally cold. Nothing else. I was fine. So it was 16 degrees when we got there, and I had my Dan Marino shirt on.
Money.
By the way, there's no better nickname than Dan Marino because it's so true and apt. When I asked you earlier, what was your layering system? Of course, number one was merino.
No, every time.
And so I had my merino top next to skin. Then I had heavyweight, and then the Dakota vest, and my Hudson jacket.
Money.
Fine.
16 degrees.
Yeah, and then the only thing I had on and underneath my waders were the gradient pants. I didn't even have any merino underneath.
No merino under it.
No. And I was fine. And then I actually can't keep that neck gaiter on too long because it makes me too hot, actually. Yeah. But it's just my feet. Man. So I'll solve it one day.
Yeah.
I do need a new pair of waders, too.
What do you
Because the
running?
boots in those are bad.
What do you got now?
I still have those gator waders, which they've held up pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I've broke ice in those a lot. And where we hunt, it's really brushy. And
Dude, I tell you what,
And
where we hunt,
they've held up pretty
not the walk in, but the actual in the water material is awful. Like the stuff that you fall through. And
Oh,
those
yeah. You
sticks,
mean like the vegetation
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah.
it's not fun.
No.
It's not fun at all. Even like you said, the one area is 2 feet deep, but it's still like
And trip and fall.
just like a mossy,
Mhm.
woody mixture.
It kind of makes it fun, though.
Yeah,
This is where the
Makes
ducks are.
interesting.
It is nice to go onto the lake or something like that, though, where the bottom's just nice and solid and
Yeah.
smooth.
Don't worry about tripping. Yeah, no doubt about it. But definitely, I'm just thinking about you and some of these other hunts that we've been on. Like Saskatchewan was warm. There were a lot of days where, during the day we were in t-shirts
That was
outside.
mid-October, right?
Yep. Yeah, October.
Yeah,
And
because I
then-
think you left right around my birthday.
Yeah, we left. The day we left was, we had a 1/4 inch ice on the vehicles, and it didn't rain. Like it was just so cold. And I remember driving back to Edmonton and getting gas, and you couldn't stand outside in like normal clothes. It was so bitterly cold. It was kind of crazy.
I mean, was it bomb cyclone cold or we don't need to rehash that.
we can
I think
rehash that.
that story is evergreen. That the bomb cyclone
Dude.
story.
That was something else.
I know how cold it was. Well, I don't know, but I've heard you tell
Freezing
it many times.
ocean. So that's another thing. I think my daughter's been asking me what's the coldest temperature ever recorded. I think it's -129. And that was in Antarctica. I don't know why that came up, but that reminds me of the bomb cyclone. It felt
wasn't
quite it felt that
I mean,
cold.
are we talking 0 degrees Kelvin here or what?
0. But no, yeah, that was fun. I really think pretty much all the hunts that we've been on, you'd been fine, foot wise.
I don't. It doesn't matter. I mean, if it's below
Yeah.
50 degrees, my feet will get cold.
You'll be hopping in and out.
Yeah.
We haven't been to Maryland in a while. I think we need to go hunt sea ducks.
It's been Josh and I went, and with my dad.
And killed some snows.
Yeah, that was one of the coolest things I've ever done. Is that experience of those snow geese coming down below those clouds, and it was like, oh my gosh, I don't know. That was the one time in a long time that I just shot into a flock of birds because I was so
Just
shook.
Group
Yeah.
shoot. One thing that I think you're going to, besides seeing tons of ducks in the Central Flyway, I'm excited for you to get under some of these groups of lessers.
Yeah.
Dude, it is wild. Like when they come in, especially if you're like in layouts, like we are sometimes, and you have 150 birds floating one side and then 150 above them next level floating the other side, and it really, like, the one time I was calling so much, and I said before, like, I started getting dizzy because it's like looking through a kaleidoscope, like they're all like intertwined and moving. And
Is there any alteration that you do to your goose call if you're calling it lessers versus big geese?
like big geese here.
Yeah.
Yeah, big geese here, I kind of read them and kind of respond to what they're doing or what I'm seeing. But when you have that many, you're just trying to make noise. So
Oh, really?
It's just like just clack, 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 like as fast as you can.
As
So
fast as
you're
you
just,
can.
yeah, just trying to pull them in.
And what size was the spread that you had for those lessers?
I want to say like 100 dozen.
Oh my gosh.
With snows.
Were they all full bodies too?
No, they're all silos and socks.
Oh, well, that makes sense then.
Still takes a bit of time.
Do you have any socks?
I don't. I only have a few dozen silos, which I should make that adjustment to.
And Josh hunts with silos quite a bit, doesn't he?
Yeah, and we have the Lucky Duck inflatable Canadas too. And I still have a bunch of full bodies. I probably should just start getting rid of all of that and go to silos and socks.
So when you're, in general, duck or geese in the Central Flyway with all those birds, how big are the spreads, or does it vary depending on the situation?
It varies. So it's funny because when we were in Saskatchewan, we didn't put out huge spreads at all. Like you find the X, they want to be there, and you just crush. somewhere like Kansas or Oklahoma, like we put out some decent sized spreads. You'll mix in some duck decoys, maybe some spinners, definitely on remote, so when geese are coming, those get cut off. And but mostly, I mean, the ducks will come to the goose decoys, no problem.
Yeah. That's one thing that I'm going to try that I haven't really tried. If we do ever find any ducks around, because I think they get kind of wary of duck decoys, and maybe just doing a spread of geese decoys. Have you ever done that?
I've not. I've always mixed. But after talking to Hudnall Brothers,
Yeah, that's another one that was a really good episode.
I like that.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah. That actually, now that you remind me, that's what gave me that. Why I think I should do that, because they'll do that, right? They'll just put a goose spread.
They put out tons of geese, and then they'll put some ducks
just mixed in.
out. Yeah, and they crush. So they hunt the river, and that's. I remember watching them last year, and all their decoys getting swept away, like just because the river was so high, and they're blind. They're standing in the blind, and the water's waist deep, and they're blind on the side of the hill. But yeah, I think, and like I said, if we would have saw some ducks on Conneaut Lake, we would have adjusted what we had and went and got our floaters and really set out a nice size
because
spread.
You wanted to, if we saw some ducks, we were going to go get a bunch of geese decoys and a big spread of ducks and put it out there. And
there's just nothing here.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Happens. Yeah, what do you do when there's no ducks around to shoot?
You just go out and
go have fun and
go break ice and let it freeze back up and watch them fly away.
I did tell Dad that, like, I knew that we weren't really gonna see anything this morning. Yeah. I was still really excited about it.
Sorry. Playing with a cap.
Making noise.
He still hiked him up though and went out.
Yeah.
Now, has he been hunting a lot?
I think
Waterfowl?
I think every day that pheasant was open, he went out, and I think he was close to shooting his limit every time that. I think there was only a couple days that he didn't shoot a limit of pheasants, and that's kind of his thing now because he's got. Actually, Sophie is. I think Sophie's 8 now. So he loves doing that, and then. He hunted quite a bit of archery and didn't really see a whole lot in archery season. But then he got the buck down at the farm during rifle season. And then Mom hunted pheasants quite a bit too, and then she shot that buck in archery season.
I didn't see a lot of deer during archery either, like 12 or 13.
What was the weather like here in archery season? Was it warm or was it typical October, November?
It was warm.
50
I
degrees
think just
one day, 70 degrees the next day.
Yeah, and a couple cold nights. When I went out, everything was perfect. That's why I decided to go out. We had a west wind, and where my dad had been seeing scrapes, I wanted to be on the downside of that, and I let the kids pick that out. And then we had a rainstorm come through. It was about an hour long. And I was like, if I can get the kids to Grandpa's house and get back and get up while it's raining, it should be perfect after. And I mean, it just...
And he was just checking those scrapes again, opening those scrapes up.
Yep. And then walked right under where the kids were and rolling around and stood under me for 5 minutes, eating leaves and sniffing around, and walked out to about 17 yards, one side step, and took one through the...
Double lung.
No, it was. I actually shot him right behind the hind quarter because he was like it was really a steep angle, and up through the lungs and through the heart. So it was. I mean, it was perfect. Everything was perfect about it.
Awesome.
Kind of crazy.
Well, I next year, so I've got about 2 years left over there in London, maybe a little less. And then next year, I'm going to try to get to Colorado for an elk hunt with my family. I think my sister and she has 2 boys. They're like super into it, so I want to spend some time with them.
They're going to go out?
I think the Weston will be 10. So I think he'll try to come out, a couple times, maybe in the afternoon, probably not in the mornings.
Yeah.
And then Teague will be 7, So maybe he'll come out a little bit too. But that's a tough one too, because I fly into Denver and then you typically drive 4 hours to where you're going, and then I can really you probably only get 5 days of hunting in.
Yeah.
Because it's almost it's over a day and a half of travel really
Right.
to get out there from where I'm at. But last year, or 2019 was the first year I hadn't done it, or I should say I had done it 4 of the last 5 years. I really missed it this year, so I think I'm going to try to do that, and then maybe try to get with you guys if it's going to be later in the year.
Yes. You tell us when, and we will adjust.
So you think we should go to Kansas?
Sure.
Okay.
So, Kansas or Oklahoma, or depending. So that'll be September. You'll be out in Colorado.
Yeah, probably Colorado changed their elk season to it used to be the last Saturday of August to the last Sunday of September, and now it's a set season every year, September 2nd through September 30th. And so I don't know. I might try to get a muzzleloader tag, but I really want to kill an elk with a bow.
Yeah.
That last year when I missed that elk, or I hit that tree on that really nice bull, it was just soul crushing, but made me want to go even more. You know?
That's tough. That's a lot of work, and then you hit a tree. So that's all good.
Oh, yeah. Good penetration on that tree, though.
I'm sure. How far was the tree?
The tree was about 35 yards, and the elk was at like 42.
That's a tough break.
Yeah.
Tough break.
Yeah. I'd love to spend some more time out west, though.
So you're thinking November, December, maybe?
For
Kansas?
Yeah, probably December.
All right. We'll work on that.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
We'll work on that for sure.
Or just, I think seeing Josh at that wedding was the first time I've seen Josh in 2 years.
Yeah.
It's good to see him. Just, I don't really care where we're hunting, as long as the 3 of us are hunting together again.
It'll be fun. You have to get your dad out too.
Yeah. So he'll go. He just bought that new Ethos, so.
It's fun. Every time I come over here, he walks out with a gun.
a new purchase.
Hey, check this out. Feel how light it is. Look at this.
Yeah, I asked him if he shot it yet. He said no, but he shouldered it about 500 times.
Just getting used to it.
He bought it. He just got it maybe 3 days ago. Yeah, he's a character. And then we were out in the.
But that if we do Kansas, then we can hunt upland in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So he'd love that.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll make that work. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. So you're in Kansas next week,
Mm-hmm.
and then you'll be back for maybe a couple days of the second split of duck season in Pennsylvania.
Yep. We'll get out.
And I'm sure the weather will be either too hot or too cold, and the water too high or frozen.
Yeah. What we can do too, a couple guys in Delta chapter have blinds up at Presque Isle.
I was going to say, that's one thing that we tried to do last year, but it didn't really work out. That would be something I'd love to do that.
We could probably pick a day and go up there.
Mm-hmm. Do you know if they have any birds up there? Have you been hearing anything?
There's some, but I know it just seems like a lot of the blinds have got blown over by some of the winds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're having a lot of difficulty with that.
Who takes care of those blinds? Is it the
person
state park?
that draws?
Oh, really?
Yeah. You can build it and set it and do whatever. But yeah, I need to get up there and try that.
Mm-hmm.
For
Get
sure.
your big diver spread out.
It's not a bad diver spread.
What are you up to now?
4 or 5 dozen, I think.
Oh, okay.
Enough.
Including my 6 bluebills that I bought.
Yeah.
That was our diver spread.
Mm-hmm.
We shot the buffalo heads out of.
Yeah, that was fun.
Uh-huh. That was a good puffy shoot.
They were froze up.
Yeah.
Remember that? Ice, breaking ice off
day.
it. No, that's all good stuff. But man,
Are you, should I do the obligatory Josh? You got one more thing?
One more thing. I don't know.
We talked about the weather. you've got that out of the way.
Yep. Weather's gone.
We found out what the coldest record on temperature is.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure I'll get fact checked and told that I'm wrong because someone will find something about it. Yeah, one more thing. I've been seeing a lot of sandhill cranes around here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, right outside Linesville, I saw about a 60-pack right in one of the fields. Just chilling, hanging out.
What's the closest state that you can shoot cranes in around here? Close? Is it
I
all
don't
in the
know.
Midwest?
I think it's Midwest. I don't know.
That's another thing that I'd love to do.
There's a few things I need to do. One, I need to apply for a swan tag somewhere. Two, I need to start applying for Pennsylvania elk tags. Because going up there during the rifle season and filming and stuff was awesome. And there's so many big bulls up there.
Yeah.
Chances are slim. Maybe when I'm like 50 or 60.
And you
I'll
have
be able
to
get
use
on.
a guide, right? If you get drawn, you can't DIY a Pennsylvania elk hunt.
I'm not sure.
When my dad guided in Colorado, he worked with a guy who was also from Pennsylvania,
Mm-hmm.
and then when he moved back to Pennsylvania, when they initiated the Pennsylvania elk season,
2001.
yeah, and so he was like one of the registered guys that, because I think it may be different now, but I thought when they first started, you had to have somebody who was a registered Pennsylvania elk guide so that you could, you had
I'd have
somebody
to
who
look
knew
into
what
that.
they were doing.
Probably.
So anyway, you're gonna Sandhill crane, Pennsylvania elk. What was the other one?
Swan.
Swan.
Maybe in Utah. That'd be cool. Go hunt the Great Salt Lake. That's a hunt that we need to do.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've seen some Instagram posts
like
about
it's the
that.
deepest is like 3 foot deep,
Right.
and it's just that'd be really cool. All kinds of birds.
And what
out
those
there.
birds do is they go and have a drink of fresh water, right? And then what's the deal out there?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. Need to find a guide to come on about that
Mm-hmm. That'd be a good
or
episode.
talk about it. That's a good idea.
Because you've had people on from California, right? Talking
Mhm.
about hunting in California.
Mhm.
And you've got pretty much all the different areas and types of hunting and ways of hunting down. That's one that really hasn't been out there.
I think we'll line up an Alaskan guide as well and
Mm.
talk about some of the stuff that goes on out there. I think that'd be cool. There's some stuff in the works, so
Yeah, I'm looking forward to listening next year.
yes, sir. I can't believe it's almost the end of the year. It's pretty crazy.
20 years ago was Y2K, man. World was going to end. Here we are, 2019.
Here we are. End of a decade.
I'm not sure if the world's closer or less close to
Yeah,
that.
I know. Probably closer.
We won't get into that.
Yeah, that's a 3-hour podcast.
Yeah.
Um,
Actually, the election in the UK is going on right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
How's that looking?
I don't know. I haven't checked in. They won't really know until probably about 10 or 11 o'clock UK time, so about early evening now.
So what
This time?
what is going on with Brexit?
Yeah, it's a good question.
That's a huge issue.
It's a big issue.
Yeah.
It's kind of holding the country hostage at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, do we need to talk about the effects of Brexit and the duck hunting in the UK and whether it
Sure,
survive?
sure. Well, I mean, Brexit just because I had a project that was going on and they were going public in England
Mm-hmm.
doing
And they pulled
IPOs
it.
and stuff, and they pulled it.
Yeah.
So then they were
Happens a
doing
lot.
public finance or private finance, and it just put it off for months and months, and it's still put off right now. So
Yeah. Well, actually, the private placement market is quite strong right now because a lot of the concerns about public offerings.
and that company was run by I forget the fellow's name, but he's essentially the European Buffett, like just the billionaire over there.
The European Buffett.
That's what I called him. I forget his name. He had more money.
European Buffett.
A Euro
What's the deal with that Brexit deal?
Euro buff. Let's
One
talk.
of the other things I really like about listening to the podcast, and which I this is probably an inside joke. So, and again, Josh isn't here, but Josh's pronunciations in the Pittsburgh accent,
Yeah.
I really get a kick out of.
He throws so many innats.
And that's Hass,
Yeah.
catch. So for those of you that don't pick up on that when Josh says that, he's doing a Pittsburgh accent, which we know and
Pittsburghese.
love here in Northwest Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Yeah. He's always, that's part of the Pittsburgh dad He's talking about a tornado. Don't come near this house.
Yeah. Tornado. The other thing Josh said the other day was he was talking about something black on black being murdered out.
Yeah.
That's the type of stuff that I miss when I'm talking to him. The little late 90s, early 2000s references.
There's so many.
Uh-huh.
Water y'all. He does that every trip too. Hey, get me a bottle of water y'all. All right, bud. No. So anyway, yeah, I'll be out next week, and then we'll get back and try and get after some
Can't
birds.
wait to see some of those pictures.
Is Goose in?
Comes back in Monday.
So
And then it goes out January.
So we'll set a goosey and duck spread.
Yeah.
And try and get after it when I get back. Because I'll probably still be unemployed at that moment, which is fun.
Yeah, it seems like you're really enjoying your unemployment.
Dude, I'm not complaining, really.
Just start on Social Security now, huh?
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what the new year brings. Maybe a job. Anyway.
All right.
Good
to
chat.
be on.
That's about an hour.
I'll talk to you again in December of 2020.
We might let's do a recap. Maybe Josh will come up between Christmas and New Year's.
When, this year?
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Get a hunt together.
Yeah, that would be really good.
That'll work.
Okay.
All right, brother.
All right.
See ya.
See ya.
All right. Well, we appreciate Travis again stopping by and spending some time with us and catching up. I was also told to add that they didn't keep the pet crow. His dad just got it out of the tree. So if anyone was wondering about that, didn't keep it. Anyway, that's going to do it for this week. Hopefully next week we'll be back together, Dan and I, with some new stuff going on. We're getting close to the holidays, so time is getting tight. Make sure you're getting your Christmas shopping done or getting your Christmas list put together so that you can get those long-awaited items that you've been holding out for. Maybe some new decoys, waders, something like that. New call, maybe. Make sure that Santa knows exactly what you're looking for this season. Before we check out for this week, do want to take a minute again just to thank Adrenaline, Turtle Box, Duck Camp, Yukonuba, Gunner Kennels, and Cornerstone Gun Dog Academy, the world's most comprehensive online gun dog training resource. They've got over 160 instructional videos. It includes everything you need to take your 7-week-old puppy to a finished gun dog. Visit cornerstoneGunDogAcademy.com, sign up for the free preview module, and begin your training journey today. Cornerstone Gun Dog Academy, the most advanced gun dog training resource on the web. I'm clearly having issues, so without further ado, I'm going to close this one out and put a bow right on this. All right, that does it for episode 164. Hopefully you enjoyed Dan and Trav sitting down and talking hunting and all the kind of things that they got into there with Sunday hunting and all that good stuff. If you're new to the show, head over to iTunes. You can check out all of our past episodes. While you're there, you can leave a 5-star rating and review. It'll help like-minded hunters just like you find our show. That's going to do it for this week. We'll be back next week, Dan and I together, back in the saddle. So until then, for Dan, I'm Josh. Take care.